Coming up on the CODE Bet Daily, it is the AFL Show and the Daily combined into one. Somehow I am hosting, yet I am in an awesome jacket. I am joined by Leo and the Stats Guy. What are we looking at, gents?
I'm looking at Petracca to absolutely dominate Stats Guys North.
Oh, Stats Guy.
I am very worried about North, but I think Connor Rozee is going to step up to the port in Geelong.
Well timed that. I tip against my Swans, believe it or not, and I'm, of course, looking at power forwards to kick plenty of goals. But hey, it's the CODE Bet Daily weekly AFL show. Check it out. It's coming your way right now. Welcome to the CODE Bet Daily. It is time for round 21 of the AFL season. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Alex Donnelly. I'm in a sick jacket because I have the best girlfriend ever. I'm joined, as always, well, not always, part-time by social guy Leo. He's subbing in today for James.
Hey, Alex, Liam, how we doing?
Very good, very good.
And Leo decided to introduce Stats Guy. The Stats Guy's here as well.
I am here. I am not keen on talking about North at all. I'm liking the jacket. I'll give you that. I want to get one of those retro ones. But
Yeah, no. It's,
definitely happy to talk about.
You got to get yourself a girlfriend and have a birthday. That's the trick. Yeah.
I can have a birthday.
You just buy it as well.
Oh, Stats Guy doesn't spend money. It's a well-known fact. He didn't even buy his dad a birthday present.
Oh, I definitely did.
Shout out to Mark McAllion. Happy birthday. The best people are born at the start of August. Anyway, we are here for round 21 of the AFL. No James Clements today. He can't speak literally because, well, his kid's got him sick. So,
yeah,
tough break for Jim, but footy's back.
It is, again.
Yeah. Round 21, player props, game picks, best bets for everything. Leo's going to throw in with his fantasy bets as well. Unfortunately, we need to recap last week.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
Where do we start? James got 1. Stats Guy got 2.
I got 9 the week before and then I got 2. Yeah.
And me, leading again with 3.
What did you get?
Yeah,
I think I got 3 as well.
Oh,
Yeah, hold on.
Honestly, I think the site average. I reckon Australia's average was 2 or something. It was an absolute upset.
Yet we all tipped Hawthorn.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Or Leo didn't.
So,
Yeah, Leo
and
didn't.
he even goes for Hawks.
So that leaves the leaderboard at James 105,
catching
me 110, Stats Guy 114. I haven't looked at any of the tips, so I don't know how we're going. Anyway, let's get this thing started with Western Bulldogs taking on Richmond. I'm running the soundboard and the timer today.
Nice.
Western Bulldogs $1.55. The line is 8.5. Richmond $2.35. Over under is 167.5. Bulldogs, well, they were horrible in the second half last week, getting beaten by Richmond.
They were.
The betting favourite has won 15 straight times at Marvel, which is very interesting. Richmond hasn't covered the line in its last 7 at Marvel. 4 straight Bulldogs games have gone under the total points mark, which makes sense. It was 70 to 68 last week or something.
Yes, yeah.
And Richmond haven't won in their last 7 at Marvel. I think they've lost to North twice, haven't they?
Yeah, twice, I think, in the space of a couple of years, which
It's
is
a big
nuts.
trip for him. So.
Yeah. It's a big trip.
Can Andrew McQualter break the duck?
It doesn't help when your coach is complaining about
Well,
going
Andrew
over there.
McQualter hasn't complained about it.
He hasn't
Yeah,
coached, so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
good.
Anyway, Richmond is ranked 11th and the Dogs 12th in the AFL for points per game at 82.3 and 81.1 respectively. This is a gym game, so just rolling through what he's written down for us. The Doggies' defence has been quite good this year. They're only letting in 76.6 a game, but the Tigers 84.1, which sort of shows you where they're all sitting at the moment. It's what I've been yelling about all year. The Western Bulldogs can't kick a score.
No.
Once again, their forwards went missing last week when it mattered. Richmond at Marvel. Whew, wowee. They have got a combined total of 100 points in their last 2 games at Marvel. 48 against West Coast.
Thought that was
and
a typo.
52 in a draw with Fremantle. That just doesn't seem right.
Jeez.
Leo, please check AFL tables while we're doing that.
That's
that was
right. Yeah,
The past 4 Bulldogs games have gone under, as we said. So Jim's very keen on the total under 169.5 at $1.91. As always, 25 plus in a goal for a superstar in the midfield. This time it's Bont.
The Bont,
Every
yeah.
week.
Yeah.
25 in a goal.
Lock it in.
7 straight games and 12 of his past 13. He's got 25 plus. He's kicked 11 goals in those games. And he's had at least 1 in his last 3 games against Richmond at
Sneaky
Marvel.
Brown, though. He's pushing up there, I reckon.
I've got a sneaky Brownlow call later that I'm going to bring.
Ooh.
I think I've already said it this week, but I'm going to say it again because I reckon it's a great top 10 bet when we get those markets. Tom Liberatore, unfortunately, he won't get an All-Australian Guernsey. He'll get in the squad.
He might.
You can't. No, Stats Guy, you cannot have 3 Western Bulldogs midfielders because they're probably going to miss finals.
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah, it's because of my stats. I don't know. We'll see.
As if you're going to pick 3 Western Bulldogs midfielders as your All-Australian starting mids when they've missed finals.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's 100% in. I just think he deserves to.
Bont and English are Libber's that. Sorry, Libber.
Yeah. All right, we'll see.
Yeah, he might be the sub.
Yeah.
$2.10 for 30 plus. He averages 28 a game. He's racked up 30 plus in his last 3 games. I'm not a big fan of Cody Waitman, but Jim is.
Well, he's had a decent
I think
season.
he's a downhill skier. He is
a bit,
Dave
yeah.
Warner with less talent. 47 goals in 23 games at Marvel. He's kicked 18 in his last 5 in fairness. They're against Freo and North Melbourne, so it's really not a great...
Powerhouses.
Yeah, it's not really good, is it? Like what he kicked 1 against the Swans, it was junk as well. He didn't do much last week either. He hasn't been in great form, but 3+ goals at 3.15. I've been pretty big on Shea Bolton this year. McQualter's like, hey, you're actually fast and skillful. Get in the midfield. He's got 22 disposals per game on average, also hitting the scoreboard, but he's kicked 23-23. So not as all ideal. In his last couple of games against the Dogs, he's kicked 2+ in his last 3. So 20+ and 2 goals for Jim is $2.60. He also loves his dusty 20 and 2. That's $2.63. He's been really good. He was actually awesome.
Yeah,
in that
he's
first
starting to hit
last week.
his stride again, which is really good to see. Yeah.
Kicked 2 goals in Richmond's last 4 games, 2 goals in each of the last 4 games, and he's averaged 26.5. So 20 and 2 is $2.63. Tim Taranto, he has been hitting the scoreboard this year as well. He will have a hot run during the middle of the season with Brownlow votes. 30 and a goal is $3. Had him last week. He let me down. Apparently Liam Jones is back this week. That's the first I've heard of it. And the Dogs are 6-4 at Marvel this season. And Jim is pretty keen on the Dogs to get the job done at $1.39. Not $1.39. $1-39 at $2.26.
Yep.
Leo, please run us through your bet.
My bet for this one is Marcus Bontempelli. You touched on him already, but to have 120+ fantasy points is $2.10 with Ladbrokes.
Okay.
Dogs have kind of dropped off the past couple of weeks, and to sort of
They
get
don't
themselves...
tag either.
What was that?
They don't tag.
They don't tag at all.
Yeah.
But they've dropped off the past couple of weeks, and to get back into the finals, to entrench themselves in that top 8, the Bont's going to have a big game here. Finals on the line, he'll step up.
Okay.
Nice. Like it.
Anything stats guy? Got anything to offer?
I don't mind just 1-39. If they're going to win Bulldogs, it's not going to be your thrashing. That's what you get a bit more value there. And yeah, Richmond, just for some reason at Marvel, I think they're not going too badly, but at Marvel, you can't trust them.
Kind of wish my missus booked my birthday dinner for Friday night, not Saturday night, so I don't have to watch this.
Well, you don't have to. There's other
I'm
things
not
to
going.
watch.
I'm going to Hobart.
Yeah, there's other things
tips.
to
I'm
do.
with the. I'm tipping the Bulldogs. I can't believe it.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
the
on
first time in
Dogs.
ages you've tipped the Dogs.
Yeah.
I'm going Dogs.
Yep, Dogs, and Jim is also the Dogs. All right, next game. All right, we can whip through this one. I've got the timer on. Essendon $1.06. The line is 50.5. The West Coast Eagles on a winning streak. Get around them. Yeah, $10. The over/under is 176.5. The Eagles have lost their last 18 away games. Their last
But they're 1 in a row.
5 away. The last 5 away games have come at an average of 112.5.
Oh,
Not great.
112.
Yeah. But the Eagles, they're on a winning streak. Yeah.
just win, not streak.
It's a win streak. Don't
Can
care.
one be a streak?
Yes, it can. Ask that to North Melbourne fans.
Well, yeah, honestly, yeah. If we win a game, I'll be
you go.
going out.
The Bombers are 1-5 in their last 6. I talked about it after the bye. I said their next 6 weeks will set up their season or make their season a failure.
Classic Bombers.
Classic Bombers. Finals are slipping away. 4 of the last 5 matches that the Bombers have played in have hit the overs. So we saw last weekend that was well over. It was like 160 and it was about 200 points.
Yep.
Just going to rip straight into player props. This is a smaller game preview. This is my one. I think 2 metre Peter, it's a big game for him. He came good in the last weekend when Dane Rampy went off. Up until 3/4 time, he was almost as useless as Ryan Clark for the Swans there. But he kicked 4. He also kicked 4 the last time they played against West Coast. He's worked his way back into form. 4 plus 265. But given no Barras for the Eagles and McGovern might not be playing, I'm not sure.
Not too sure.
Yeah, they're not sure yet.
6 plus is 975 for the big 2 metre Peter.
We jinxed the Suva last week, but
Yeah, but that's because we were talking about it for 7 days.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm looking away from Parrish and merit possession-wise. There isn't any value in this, so I'm looking at Hobbs for 20 plus at $1.62 and anytime goal at $1.64.
Yep.
Benny Hobbs, he's had 20 plus in 9 games this season. He's kicked 4
been
goals
really
in
good.
his last
Yeah.
4. Like I was with some Essendon fans last week. They love him.
Yep.
Absolutely love him.
nice.
Another one, big fan of him after watching him up close last week. Nick Hind, 20 plus, 23 and a goal last week, but he can do that and then have 6 possessions the next week.
Yeah.
He's $1.70 to do that, so I don't mind that. And of course, going towards the Eagles, we've got to mention it. 2 plus.
We need,
Oscar Allen.
we need a button just for Oscar Allen. I
We're just looking to get the t-shirts. $1.40 for 2 plus goals. 4 plus is $4.10. We saw the Amati party get a hold of them last week. Even Sam Wicks kicked 3. Like this Bombers defense is very leaky at the moment, so I reckon we'll see some points. But 4 plus at $4.10. For other player props, Liam Duggan, he had 35 against the Bombers earlier this year when they got smashed. They don't tag, and he averages 24 touches this year. So I'm having a look at that 30 plus at $3.70. And Dom Sheed, he had 26 last week in the win. He's playing well this year. He's one West Coast Eagles player this year and go, you know what, I had a crack this year.
him and Tim Kelly.
$1.68 for 25 plus. All right, tips.
We got an AFL Fantasy.
Yeah, I'm going to go tips and then come on, just let Stats go. I am hosting. Shut up. You're tipping Essendon. Leo, go.
Essendon. Fantasy bet for this one, Zach Merritt to have 120 plus fantasy points is $2.85 with Ladbrokes. So averages 112 this season, but against such a terrible Eagles team.
Yeah, they could be up and about.
No, I doubt it. The Bombers captain will run rampant here, I reckon.
I'm tipping the Bombers 60 plus at $2.05.
60 plus,
with
I like it.
Ladbrokes.
Nice.
All right. Is this a you game, Stats guy?
It is.
Thank
it
God.
is. Adelaide taking on Gold Coast. Adelaide are $1.37. The Gold Coast are $3.35. The line is 18.5, and the over/under is 174.5, which is pretty big, but I think they can cover that. Gold Coast have been solid at home. They're not playing at home, but they have been solid at home, beating Geelong and Brisbane. And even beat Adelaide earlier in the year at home, but they've been shocking away. 2-6 away from home and have lost their last 14 games in South Australia, which I think includes some gather round game and just 14 games in South Australia.
They led all the way against Freo. And
led all the way.
them.
Freo, that's right. I couldn't remember which game it was actually.
Yep.
Adelaide actually have been pretty solid. They're 12th, but they've got the 5th highest percentage in the competition, which is pretty
they won
unbelievable.
by 170 against West Coast.
Yeah, they either win big or lose really close. So that's why I think they're still a solid team that's in 12th at the moment. And they're also 8-3 this year at the Adelaide Oval. That's obviously helped by 2 wins over Port Adelaide this year in the showdowns. They've looked really, really good at home. They've kicked over 110 points in 8 of the last 9 games. They've played at Adelaide Oval. Tex Walker is in amazing form. Ben King looked back to his best last week with 5, I'm pretty sure he kicked. So yeah, I'm definitely going that over. I think it's going to be an absolute shootout. When Adelaide play at home, they just attack, and sometimes that can mean they're going to concede some points. So over 174.5 total points, I'm definitely going over.
Well, they've also got
there.
a bunch of players. Their defense has been injured.
Yes.
2 blokes that
Murray's out.
and Murray,
which doesn't help. So yeah, I think that'll help Ben King, as I'll talk about in a little bit. You got to look at Tex Walker at the moment. He's second in the Coleman, which is unbelievable. Everyone thought, I think even last year, that he might be almost done. He's averaging almost 3.5 goals this year. It's 7 against Port last week. That goal, I think, should be up for goal of the year. I think it was actually nominated.
I'm still going with Dan Houston.
Oh, that one was good, but
after the siren in the wet.
Yeah, Tex on the left from 50 after he balked. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, but also was Aaliyah concussed by then? Or
yeah,
not?
I think he
it doesn't count. We got to take some points off.
Yeah, that was really dodgy actually by Port. Anyway, he's been absolutely awesome. I think he can also push up the ground and take that 1-on-1 battle away from Sam Collins, who likes to stay deep. So I think 4+ goals. I know it's only $2.50, but he's almost averaging that. And yeah, this is a worse defense than Port, so I'm going to take the 4+ goals for Tex at $2.50. Then having another look at their other forward, Josh Rochelle. He's been really good.
He's got to get picked. He still might not get picked. Matty Nick said.
Really?
Yeah.
He was bad,
from suspension.
Yeah, Matty Nick still might not pick him because
I thought he was back.
He punched a guy in the face.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Anyway, if he gets picked, I think he's really good value for 15+ and a goal. He's done that 10 times this year already, and I think he's just so versatile. Every time the goals are in front of him, he lights up and wants to kick one. So 15 and a goal at $2, I think was good value. Then, as I mentioned before, Ben King. He's finally looked back to his best last week, kicked 5 against the Lions. I don't think he faces a much easier defense here in the Crows, especially with Murray and Duday, and I think another player out as well. He's kicked 3+ in the last 3 meetings with the Crows as well, so $2.85 I liked. And then finally, last player prop, Rory Atkins. He could hardly get in the Gold Coast side at the start of the year, was only played I think 4 or 5 games last year, but he has been absolutely awesome, back to his best form since he played for Adelaide in 2019 when he was just playing every game. He's averaging 29 disposals across the last month, which is unbelievable.
I got him in my super
A lot of
coach
people have got him in the super
Really?
coaches. I think he's averaging like 110 super
great.
coach the last couple of
Jeez,
months.
that's surprising.
Yeah, that's really surprising me. So 25+, I think betting hasn't really caught on to that just yet. So $1.90 you still get for him 25+ when
nice.
he's literally been probably their best midfielder across the last month. And there we go. Early siren. I'm going to wrap it up. Crows have the second best winning margin in the competition. They average a win by 48 points, and they're the best team at covering the line at home. So in the league, so 8-2. So I'm going to go Adelaide minus 18.5 here. I think the line could have been a bit more, especially Adelaide at home.
Cool.
Yeah, nice. In terms of fantasy, I'm looking at a forgotten on-baller in Matt Crouch.
I'm going to talk about him. Go.
100+ fantasy points is $2.25 with Ladbrokes. It just seems that the Crows are now trusting him with that midfield role, and he's sort of back to that ball-winning form that he was so good at a couple of years ago. 105 last week. I reckon he'll back it up here at Adelaide Oval.
Nice.
30+ $3.
Yeah, nice.
30+ $3. Nice.
Yep. Crows?
Crows, yeah.
Jim's also Crows. Hawthorn taking on Collingwood. $5.25 for the Hawks. Plus 31.5. $1.17 for the Collie Wobbles. $166.5 is the over-under. Hawthorn's last 5 losses have been at an average of 34 points. You can see the 34 stab marks in Leo. They have covered in their last 5 against Collingwood at the G.
Really?
The last AFL games at the MCG, there's been 8 of them. Well, the last 8, that is, sorry. All of them have gone over.
All have gone over?
Yeah.
Okay.
All 8. Looks like a Collingwood bounce back here for me, but let's just rip into some player props. I haven't hit start. I'm about a minute behind. Anyway, Luke Bruce, 3+. He's kicked 21-6 in his last 3 games. He's accurate. He's reliable. He's everything you want in a forward. 3+ is $3.15.
Got a career high
Nice.
6 goals, was it last week? I'm pretty sure, which is amazing. For
Yeah, but there's a lot of like 3s and 4s, and it's like
he's such an amazing player.
Yeah, he kicked 4. Oh yeah, like there's no real surprise. Yeah,
He's so good.
Right. James Sicily, 25+ at $1.50. I think this is a big game for him rebounding off half back because I don't think he'll play on Dan McStay because he's not tall enough. He might get the Myercheck roll and run off him.
Yep.
And I was talking to Leo about this. We think Nick Dacos is going to cop the tag from Finn McGuinness.
Yes, most likely.
So avoid Nick Dacos. We'll be very wary about Nick Dacos
he'll
with your
still
possession.
only get
count.
22
Yeah, still
instead
probably get like 30.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, is it like $1.20 to get 25+? It's like, and Sam Mitchell tags. Like, who are you going to tag? Nick Dacos.
Yeah, I reckon look at Josh Dacos instead.
Yeah,
To go to Nick. Speaking of Josh, 25+ is $1.57. 25 and a goal. He's been nipping up with a goal here and there. Is $2.87. He signed that fat contract yesterday. He'll want to repay the faith. Also, before I go any further, all these Collingwood fans, we got him for pick 57. What a bargain. He's a father-son, you morons. This was before we bought in the new bidding system. Of course, Gary Ablett was pick 800. So shut up.
Didn't know there was that many picks.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
I'm joking.
It's you got a father-son. Shut up. Anyway, Dan McStay, he could cause a lot of issues because, Hawthorn don't have really many tall dudes in their defensive half.
Yeah.
No.
He's kicked 2 goals in each of his last 3 games. He's come back from that injury. But what I liked last week was he took a lot of marks against a really good defensive Carlton.
Missed some sitters.
Yeah, and that's always him as well. But he's $2.02 for 2+, but he's $11 for 4.
Yeah, nice.
And it's Hawthorn, so I absolutely love that. What did Dan Butler kick last week? Felt like a lot.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Yeah, it felt like
I think
a
Brad
lot.
Crash kicked 3. So
Yeah, exactly. So
that was weird.
Anyway, this is a shorter game that I've done. I'm tipping Collingwood, and I'm doing 1 to 39s. I think Hawthorn will have a firecracker up their butthole after last week's spray.
They've been, I know as a Hawks fan it's hard to say, but I think they've been pretty solid at the G in the last couple of years. I don't mind the 1 to 39, but yeah, I'm going to go Collingwood as well.
I think Collingwood 40+ because we conceded 9 goals to the Saints in the first quarter.
That's true. That was one.
Yeah, you did cop a rocket though. So anyway, righto, Leo, hit us with a fantasy bet.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Finn McGuinness going to tag Dacos. So I'm going to look at Jordan De Goey to have 90+ fantasy points. $2.40 to Ladbrokes.
I'd be taking
you can,
Nick's
but
under.
They come out on the day, I believe.
Okay.
Look at Nick's unders, punters. Do not captain him in Supercoach. I've got to remind myself to not do that.
I think $2.40 is great value for one of Collingwood's best midfielders.
Absolutely,
to just have a strong day out. 90+ fantasy points. You don't need to be excellent, but still like a decent day out. 20 disposals, 2 goals will probably get you that. So
nice.
Yeah, all aboard De Goey.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
I like it.
All right, Geelong taking on Port Adelaide. I'm assuming we're all tipping Collingwood, so there's no use to
Yeah, we're going Collingwood.
Yeah, all right. Geelong taking on Port Adelaide. Is this you, Stats
This
guy?
is my game,
All right,
yes.
Go.
I'm actually going to go head down to Geelong on Saturday night for this one.
You're going to start headbutting people.
Honestly, if I cheer for Port, I might get bashed, so I might have to be a bit quiet here because I am tipping Port. But Geelong $1.57.
All right, Stats guy's tipping Port next game.
No, this is the game of the round. We're gonna talk about this one.
No, it's not.
Are you going to boo Horn Francis?
Nah, probably not. Probably not.
Game of the round's in Sydney, but
I like this game anyway. Port Adelaide $2.50. Yeah, I think I just said that. Geelong $1.57. The line is 10.5. The over under is 164.5. Geelong have won their last 11 home matches against Port, but they're not as invincible as they once were at GMHBA. They lost to GWS and Freo this year. I still can't believe they lost to Freo there last week with the form that Freo are in.
Yep.
Port have such a strong midfield and rotating forwards. They desperately need to bounce back. They've lost their last 3. Both teams are extremely out of form and really need a win, especially Geelong because they'd almost be pushing out of finals contention, which is crazy. And Port have been really strong on the road at 6-3 this year. So I actually am leaning towards Port in this one. Looking at some player props, Gary Rowan, he may be a bit inconsistent, but he'll have to lift with no Tom Hawkins in this Geelong side this week. He's kicked 2+ in the last 3 meetings with Port, and there's no Aliir. I'm not saying he's going to play on him, but he does take intercepts. Gary Rowan loves to run and jump at the ball and take big marks. So I don't mind with no Aliir that it's going to help Gary Rowan get that 2+ again at $2. And then an underrated Geelong player, I think I talked about him the other week, but Tom Atkins, he's really lifted for this Geelong side. He works hard at both ends. He does the tackling and then he gets the disposals on the inside. He's had 23 disposals, averaging 23 disposals, across the last month. And so I was really surprised. $1.92, you get 20 plus disposals for him, which is really good for Tom Atkins there. And then I think Jim was all over this one as well. Connor Rozee, he's been electric this season. He's averaging over a goal per game, even while he's playing more midfield minutes than he ever has before. He's got 9 goals across the last 5 games, and he's still $3.10 for 2+ goals. I think the way he's been playing over the last couple of months, he's been pushing forward, just creeping forward. Each few quarters, so I don't mind the 2+ at $3.10 there. And then we always love a better same game multi. I was really surprised by this one actually. Port to win is the first leg, over 149.5 total points, which is a lot lower than the actual total points. And then Finlayson anytime goal is $3.50. So I was really surprised by that. You just get Finlayson usually at least gets 1 or 2. Port obviously is the tough leg there because they're paying $2.50 to win. But if you think they're going to win, then get on that on better. And then I'll finish off. Port, I think they're going to win this one. They have a strong midfield. Won't mind the tough conditions that are usually down in Geelong. Jeremy Cameron is out of form for the Cats at the moment. I think he kicked 1-5. Has had a couple of weeks with not even kicking a goal, which is unbelievable for how he started at the start of the year.
I need that bad beat sound now.
I think he was paying $1.50 for the Coleman a couple of months ago at the start of the year or something. But then, anyway, he absolutely dropped off.
He was never that short stats.
When he was like, it was 10 goals ahead or something like that.
Charlie Kerner was on his heels.
Oh, okay.
It was like 250.
It felt like it was very short back then. Everyone was on the train, but he's dropped off massively. I think Port will bounce back here.
I can't wait for Stats Guy to start his own betting company. It's going to be great with the odds we'll get.
Port will bounce back here. They've 6-3 away on the road this year. Don't mind Port, and really good value, $2.50. I know just because Geelong, usually when it get in your park, but as I said, haven't been as invincible as they once were there.
All right.
Yeah, nice.
Leo.
Fantasy bet for this one. Dan Houston to have 100+ fantasy points is $1.82 with Ladbrokes.
Nice.
So the last 3 weeks he's gone 104, 106, and 156.
156.
So he's in very good form.
I think I've got him in my team.
Nice. So and in that he's had 5 100+ scores in the last 6 weeks.
He had like 47 possessions.
I used to love getting
one
him in
massive
fantasy
game,
and Supercoach and all those things, and he was always inconsistent. This year he's finally
he's been very consistent this year. There's no reason for him not to do that again. So
nice.
I'm on Houston.
All right, tips.
I'm going Geelong.
Geelong, yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
I'm not super confident, but I'm going to go Port.
Yeah,
I think Jim's going Port as well.
Yeah, Jim's Port. I'm also Port only because I'm like, they've got no defence. Geelong,
Geelong's disposal efficiency as well. I didn't mention
this is that. I just can't believe that after getting beaten by Fremantle, Port Geelong are $1.57. So I'm just going to go with Port at that. All right, Battle of the Bridge time. Game of the weekend. Biggest Battle of the Bridge since 2016.
It actually is because both teams, pushing for finals.
GWS $1.78. The line is at 3.5. My beloved Swans $2.05. The over/under feels very low.
So we were talking about this.
155.5.
Yeah.
Last 6 GWS games have gone under, but you also had one was in Ballarat and one was in Alice Springs. So
they were tough conditions.
Excuse me. GWS have won 7 of its last 8 night matches at Giant Stadium by 1-39. The Swans have won the first half in their last 6, so they're starting well, the Swans. But Luke Parker, he's been best on ground in this because they give the Brett Kirk medal in 3 of the last 4. And if Toby Greene didn't snap that goal over his shoulder late, he would have won 4 straight.
Wow.
So that's how good Luke Parker goes in a Sydney derby.
Nice.
Interesting. In the 4 games between these two, decided by a goal or less, GWS have won all 4.
Ooh.
The Swans are unbeaten in their last 4 matches in 2023 with margins less than 3 points. So who's going to win the close one there? Anyway.
Draw.
Please, not again. Anyway, you think about the Giants. They've won 7 straight. It's been Whitfield, Cornelio, and Josh Kelly. The Hopper and Taranto leaving, it's been addition by subtraction. So it's all giving them more time in the midfield. It's a problem that Carlton and North Melbourne are going to run into very soon. It's what been Carlton's issue this year.
Yeah.
But what I mean is you're going to have too many midfielders. You don't need so many.
We're going to keep recruiting midfielders. Yeah, it's a bit
That's
annoying.
what I mean. You don't need as many of them.
True.
Letting Hopper and Taranto go. I mean, Cornelio in the last 3 seasons was averaging 21, 14, and 24. Yet he's up to
playing him forward.
Yeah, but he's up to 29. Exactly.
Yeah,
and he's up to 29 a game this season.
Absolutely.
He's got 23 or more possessions in every game this season, and he plays about 82, 83% of game time as well.
Yep.
He's had 25 or more in his last 8 against the Swans. He's a great multi-edition at $1.30. Josh Kelly's averaging over 26 disposals, and he's also got 10 goals in his last 8 games. 25 and a goal is $2.54. Lockie Whitfield streaming off half back, $2.15 for 30 plus. Finn Callahan, big fan of him. 20 plus at $1.69. He's having a sneakily good year, but we've got to talk about Toby Greene.
Yeah,
Like,
he is
my player that I want to have a couple of dollars on at 100 to 1 to win the Brownlow.
Or I do like top 5 or 10, but I don't know
six or
about
7
win.
games where he's going to get 3 votes guaranteed. You just look at him, that's 3 votes, that's 3 votes, that's 3 votes.
He's very underrated because he's in GWS and the media's like,
if he was in Collingwood, not Collingwood, any club in Melbourne, the love that Dacos and Bonts get right now,
100%.
Toby Greene to be getting more.
Yeah.
Like he's that good.
He's amazing.
He's gone to that. He's got averaging 2.8 goals a game this season. His last 4 games against the Swans, he's kicked 9 goals. He kicked 1 goal 7 in one of them.
Oh no!
How did he kick 1 goal 7?
1-7.
That is like
That's hard to
nearly
do.
impossible.
That's hard to do.
It is.
Yeah.
So 3 goals.
Should have threw the big
3 plus
Toby.
goals is $1.88 because I don't know who the Swans play on him. That's it just
He's a hard
confuses
matchup
me.
because he's good in there. He's good on the ground.
He and Isaac Heaney, same problem you have every time, but Green's just obviously a better player. 15 plus disposals and 3 goals is $2.69. Also go and have a look at Luke Parker, as we talked about before. He had 12 disposals last week.
Really?
I talked about how he's got such a good record against GWS in this Sydney derby. He kicked 5 goals and got 25 one game, dead set, won the game for the Swans. Then he had ripped off a couple of games in a row, getting the best on ground. He's kicked 19 goals against GWS. He averages 24 a game, but he's had 30 plus in 4 of his last 5. For a goal and 30, $6.95. I thought that was a pretty good price.
Yeah, if
there.
he's done that a couple of times already.
And I've got to mention it, of course. He's just paying me out.
Absolutely.
37 in a goal last week.
He's been
The 25 in a goal.
your best player by a mile.
He's the best. He's the best player on the Swans team by a mile. He is absolute lock for most Brownlow votes for the Swans.
Yeah.
25 plus an anytime goal is $2.62. If he hits that, the Swans are going to be in the game. But of course, the Heen machine. He's found form.
Finally,
I did say. I said he was on his last chance, and he found some form.
Yep.
But
he listens to this, so
But obviously,
Yeah.
but it's the thing when he's taking marks at the top of his leap. That's when I feel like he's back to his best form. He's kicking straight. He's got 8 goals in the last 4 games, getting just over 15 possessions a game.
Yep.
15 marks in the last 2 weeks as well. So that's big as well. He's finding the footy. He's not having, he's finding space as well.
Yep.
If he gets towards the 20 possession mark, the Swans probably a good chance of winning. But 15 plus and a goal, $2.24. And the same goes for Papley because we haven't mentioned it. Sam Taylor's just going to poor Joel Amati and Logan McDonald. Whoever Sam Taylor goes to, you're not going to get
they're
a
stuffed,
kick.
yeah.
Well, I just freely, you're not going to get a kick.
I
Good
agree.
luck. So Papley has to play really well. His GWS record isn't great. He's got only just 12.6 possessions and 25 goals in 15 games. But
that's not horrible, yeah.
Yeah, if he gets that 15 and 2, again, that's what gives the Swans a chance. 15 and 2 is $2.52.
Yep.
3 plus goals is $3.45. And my little sneaky same game of Papley to score 3 and Errol to get 30 plus is $7 with Bet
$7
for the featured same game multi.
Nice.
Bad.
Leo.
Yeah, you briefly touched on him. Lockie Whitfield to have 100 plus fantasy points, $2.35 with Ladbrokes. So similar to Houston, he's been in fantastic form the past
I
couple
was
of
about
weeks.
to say, is this where Ryan Clark finally gets a game and it's just like, just tag Lockie Whitfield?
Yeah, but I don't know if they would tag him.
Well, you
it's not
might,
as
but it's like
damaging,
when Dacos was running off the halfback flank and he had those 2 games against the Swans where he got 24 and 22
Whitfield's
last year.
I don't think
quicker
Whitfield.
and,
I don't think
bigger.
Whitfield will kill you like Dacos does.
Yeah.
So anyway, his last 3 weeks, he's gone 101, 106, and 134. So he's been in great form.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting him to back that up this week.
Cool.
All right, tips.
Go on the Giants. Their form is unbelievable. Is it 7 in a row now? I think it's a club record. So
9 different grounds as well.
No,
Jeez,
they're
really?
really good
winning
away.
everywhere.
They're really good away. Is this whose home game was this?
Yeah, it's
again?
GWS, Sydney
GWS.
Showground.
Yeah, they haven't been the best
Giants
at home,
Stadium.
but I'm going to go
3 and 3 this year,
Yeah.
but combined loss is 28 points.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's
Close.
6, 12, and 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go Giants too.
I'm also
Oh,
going the
you're going
Giants.
Giants.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think that they're in better form. I'd
Yeah.
love
They'll
the
be
Swans to
close,
win.
yeah.
But I just think they've got basically their full team. No Dane
No
Rampy for
Rampy,
us
yeah.
is big.
That's-
Whereas because it's like that one Rampy would have gone to a Hogan or what's his name, Riccardi.
Riccardi, yeah.
So whereas Sam Taylor's
Stephen
like
Green.
yeah, and that's it. And then Sam Taylor just plays on Amati or McDonald, and it's just like you ain't getting a kick, and it's
Yeah.
up to the other forwards to try and get the 12 to 15 goals. I just don't see the Swans doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Sunday, go for it, stats guy.
Oh, I really didn't want to talk about North Melbourne, my team, ever again, but something's going to come and pop up in a second.
No.
Yeah? No? Okay.
I was moving it from Errol.
North Melbourne, $8. It could be $800. Melbourne, $1.10. The line is 42.5 and the over-under is 171.5. Alex is very sneakily going onto the soundboard here and waiting for something. North, we obviously lost to West Coast last week, who are the
Why
bottom
am I
team.
staying in Hobart for an extra day?
Honestly, I don't know. We just might as well not even turn up to this game. Melbourne have won this matchup the last 4 times. There we go. That's good. That's our team song when we come run out on the weekend, I think. Melbourne have won this matchup the last 4 times by an average of 53.5 points.
Oh.
That helps when I was there at the MCG at the start of the year when we lost by
That's
90.
right. You smashed Tims.
I was in the long room.
Teams in the long room.
The
and
last
got yelled
quarter, I
at.
definitely wasn't watching the game. That was horrible. So and Melbourne have found some pretty good form. They're averaging 111 in their last 3 games. Well, we talked about earlier in the season they were struggling up forward. They finally found some cohesion up forward.
No Brody Grundy and putting Ben Brown in there's work.
And no
and
Fritsch
Petty
either.
up there. Petty has been awesome.
Yeah, but I don't think Fritsch is the problem.
Yeah,
I think it's
I don't know. He is a hungry man in
He's
front of goals,
very,
but
very hungry.
I do like him. Anyway, they're averaging 111 across the last 3 games. If they get that, they've been getting that against a lot better teams. So go the over. They're going to get at least 120, 140 points in this one. So 171.5. You got to go the overs there.
Yeah.
Then just quickly some quick player props because this game is just frustrating me. Harrison Petty. He had 6 goals last week. They've been putting him forward, which has been an awesome move. He was he a premiership backman? I think he was in the premiership side, which is unbelievable now that he's playing forward. He had 6 against Richmond last week, and he's got those strong hands that he's used a lot of the time to take inset marks. Now he's taking those marks down forward. He had 10 marks against the Tigers last week. Now the Tigers have Noah Bolter and a few other defenders down there that are much stronger than this North defense. So I'm going 4+ at $6.50. I thought it was great value. I think the odds might not have caught up just because a lot of people haven't bet on him, only recently become forward. So I don't mind the $6.50 for 4+.
It was $6 to score 2 last week.
Yeah, so exactly. So it's pretty good still against North, who looked horrible. Then I'm going to go for LDU, Luke Davis-Uniacke, a player at North that can hold his head high still. He's known for his disposals, but he's been pushing forward a lot and bursting out of those packs to get a goal. He's got a goal in 4 of the last 5 weeks, so anytime goal there, $2 for LDU. And then, just finishing off, I'm going to quickly go through this one. North lost by 90 last time at the MCG. Also, second, home away from home at Blundstone Arena in Hobart. Alex will be down there. Definitely won't be watching this game, but...
My flight's at like 12. I'm coming back for the round of 16 game here in
I
Melbourne.
wouldn't suggest going there anyway, even if you were.
I got to check that.
But North lost the last 7 at Blundstone Arena. It used to be a bit of a fortress, I think, about 5 years ago, but hasn't been for the last couple of years. And Melbourne are in great form. They won their last 4 matches, so you got to go Melbourne. The line's only 42.5. I haven't looked at the alternate lines price, but you could probably get it up to 60, even 70, the way that North have been playing. So 42.5, I really like the line there at $1.90.
Leo.
Nice. Christian Petracca, 120 plus fantasy points, is $3.20 with
I've literally just when I was checking my
Honestly,
team
put your
then
house
with
on that.
Dacos, I just captained Petracca.
Put your house on that.
It's a pretty safe call, that one. Huge game coming for Track, I reckon. 30 disposals, couple of goals. He's been doing it against way better teams, so he'll dominate this
Good luck,
North team.
stats guy.
Thank you.
Dees.
Yeah.
Cool. St Kilda and Carlton, Jim's beloved
This is a big
Carlton.
game actually as well.
Yeah, this could
It's huge.
really hurt St Kilda's season. $2.75. Ross Lyon goes, why were we the underdogs? Well, it's because Carlton knocked off Collingwood. Lids off.
Why
like it. Get around him. Yeah, the delay on that.
Why is Carlton good again? It's not good.
I don't know.
not
What
good.
happened in May and June? Honestly, it's the same squad.
Maybe they did Essendon
Who knows?
peptides, anything.
14.5 is the line. Over under 167.5. 6 straight wins for the Blues. It's their longest win streak in 23 years.
Really?
Yeah, wild.
That's crazy.
Outside of the Pies and the 7 outs against Port, that's when Jim was saying when Port played their seconds. This is going to be the toughest test.
Yep.
Saints haven't covered the line in 6 of their last 7. They struggled to beat West Coast and North. They eventually beat Hawthorn, but they might get Max King back. We're not too sure yet. Of course, this was earlier in the year. Jim was really confident about Carlton beating St Kilda, and St Kilda just chokeholded them, and everyone Carlton fan was like, oh, this is bad. I think the St Kilda loss was like, oh no.
Yeah.
5 of the last 6 Saints games have gone under 163.5. So it's 167.
Last week
they
they decided to score, but
what was that, Leo?
That was weird. Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Okay. I had it on in the background, and I'm like, oh, Hawthorn to kick 3 of the first 4. You beauty. Had a shower, came back, St Kilda
very-
6 goals.
Yeah, 6 goals in a
I was
row.
getting ready to go to lunch. I'm like, what has
sometimes
happened?
don't
That was a
6
very
goals in a game.
Hawthorn-like game.
Yeah.
this year.
Dan Butler had 4 last week, 2 against the Blues, and he's done two against the Blues in 6 of his last 8, 2+ goals. Jim hasn't given me prices here.
That's right.
Sinclair 33.
I can look up the prices.
Plus in 3 straight against the top 8 teams. He likes him for 30+. Brad Crouch 30+. He had 32 against Carlton last time. Doherty only 18 last weekend, but he missed the St Kilda game. Be doing a lot of mop up, I suppose. They do junk kick it in a lot, St Kilda.
Yep.
Go for his line. Falls around that 26 to 27 mark, so go for the overs. Cripper only had 20. No Walsh and Chera, and he should have a big one. Averages over 25 against Marvel and over 28.9 against St Kilda. Had 34 against them last time. 30+ in a goal. There's a lot of exclamation points here. $4.88.
Yeah, that's a
The
good
common
value.
medalist, Charlie Kerner, I'm saying he's going to win it. 3+ in 5 straight games. 3+ is $1.50. 5+ is $3.75. Wilkie probably goes on him, but he probably doesn't have the athleticism to go with him.
Yeah, I mean, if he kicks 6 on more.
Yeah, I was going to say Charlie's motor should get him over the line there. Jack Martin, I believe he's been the one that's turned it around for Carlton.
Yeah,
Ever
he's
since
been
he's
good.
been back
He's been
in,
really good, yeah.
they've
He's been
started
healthy
winning.
too, which has been good.
Yeah.
2+ at $2.45. David Cunningham, first time we've mentioned him this year, loves a snag at
Jim
Marvel.
loves him.
Is apparently a beautiful kick. 3 straight games with a goal there, anytime at $2. Jim is calling Carlton at the line. He says it's going to be tight. The line's 4.5, but he says Carlton should get it done by 3 or 4 goals. So
I think that's about right. Yeah.
yeah.
But
no.
I would safely lean to the 1 to 39, just so they don't have to cover the line if it's like a 10-point
I
win or
took a
something.
line last week and I missed by like 5 points. I was fuming.
That's why I don't mind 1 to 39. You could get a bit more leeway there.
All right, who are we tipping?
I'm tipping Carlton.
Carlton.
Yeah, you got to go Carlton, I reckon. The form they're in.
Hit us with your fantasy bet there, Leo.
I'm looking at Stats Guy's favourite player, Nasai Wanganeen Miller.
Oh, I love
He
him in my
loves him.
Supercoach.
Yeah.
I tell you what I'd
Actually,
be doing.
talk about
I tell you
Supercoach,
what I'd
this
be
guy.
doing if I was Carlton.
Yeah.
I'd be tagging him.
Really?
Because he's damaging. Brad Crouch
Sinclair?
gets... No. It's junky possessions. I wouldn't let Wanganeen Malira just run off
He's
half
not
back.
as damaging, but he is
Nah,
pretty good.
He's a
yeah.
great
more
kick. He's a
exciting.
great kick.
I'd be like, who's Carlton's little target?
Yeah.
Ed.
I was happy with him
Is
in my
Ed playing?
Supercoach.
I have no idea.
I don't think he's playing.
I haven't been paying attention to Carlton.
Leo's
much.
too good at Supercoach, by the way. I got
Oh,
my best
I
ever
don't know
score.
about that.
I got my best ever score, I reckon, and he
Yeah.
still beat me.
I got 2,400 last week and got rolled. I couldn't believe it. All right. So what are we going?
100 plus fantasy points, $2.15 with Ladbrokes. I reckon he's been one of the most improved players this year. I think when I came on to do a fantasy bet earlier in the season, I had him for 70 plus fantasy points, which was like $1.70.
Yeah, he's just been building, yeah.
Keeps building.
Yep.
He scored 100 plus in 3 of his last 4 games. And yeah, he's just a young star on the rise. So I think that's great value to score that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Carlton. Go
Yeah, got to
Carlton.
go the Blues.
Final game of the round. Stats guy, you can read this as my voice is starting to hurt.
No
Fremantle at
worries.
$2.95, Brisbane $1.47. The line is 15.5. Over under 167.5. Marcus will be doing this game for the site.
Yep.
Go, Stats
But
guy.
James has put some picks in here. The Lions, they're 4-6 away this season. I think a couple of them are at the G where they absolutely hate playing, but this one is at Optus Stadium, and they haven't covered the line in their last 4 away games, I assume that's supposed to say here. The Lions lost to Gold Coast last week. They got absolutely smashed. I got a mate that's a Gold Coast fan. He was absolutely up and about. I still can't believe that happened, especially up there. I know it was at Heritage Bank, but yeah, Lions just looked horrible last week. And Freo just beat Geelong. So what is going on? That last weekend of footy was just another dimension. I don't know what was going on. And then as James, I think, wrote down here, it would be the most Freo thing ever to just go on and then lose to the Lions at home after beating Geelong.
it
So,
would be.
which I think is going to happen. We've got written down here, Lockie Neal bounce back special against his old team. He averages 30 and had 35 last game, 35 plus at $4, which is really good value for the Brownlow medalists. Chucky Cameron, podcast favourite, is 2 plus. He's done it in 7 straight.
I haven't been on him since like June.
Yeah, he hasn't been as good, but he's still had a good season. He's had 2 plus in 7 straight games against Freo. That's $1.55. 3 plus if you think you can have a better game at $2.65. Joey Danaher managed 0 last time they played against Freo, but he's still going to take those big marks. I think we were talking about Pierce Freo's captain. I don't think he's just up to it anymore. He looked really good against Geelong last week, but this season he looked a bit slow. So Danaher 3+ at $2.60. Just a couple more. Luke Jackson, he's been playing a little bit more forward. He's got at least 1 goal in 3 of his last 4 against Brisbane. And then 15, he hasn't got the price there, but that's all right. 15 plus disposal, sorry. And anytime goal is $3.75. So he's been getting some of the clearances for them in the midfield and then also pushing forward. So that 15 plus and anytime combined multi is $3.75. I think that's a really good value there. Finally, you got to talk about Andrew Brayshaw if you are going to talk about Freo. He's got a goal in 5 of his last 6 home matches. And he just racks up the footy. So 25 plus and anytime goal is $3.06. Who are we tipping, boys, in this one?
Brisbane,
yeah. Surely Freo haven't won a back-to-back games all year pretty much.
I don't know. Brisbane was so bad last week.
Yeah.
Freo beat Geelong, but Freo were crap against the Swans. I don't know. Leo, just give me a fantasy bet, please.
You already talked about the Lachie Neale bounce back game.
Yep.
So he obviously got tagged by Took last week and was kept out of it nicely. So 100 plus fantasy points is $1.64. I think that's just nice.
Freo don't have like a tagger like that.
I think it's a nice little multi-edition that. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of, rate my multi. It's from Jim. Essendon minus 50.5. Adelaide minus 18.5. Collingwood minus 31.5. Port plus 10.5. And Carlton minus 14.5. Those 5 legs will get you 25 and 43 cents. Rate Jim's multi.
I'll give it a
7.5.
I'm a 7.
7 as well.
More about Port.
Yeah, I don't mind Port. Maybe
I'm worried about Carlton.
Carlton, yeah, because I reckon that could be a really close game.
And Essendon, it's Essendon.
No,
they should
Essendon's
smash
good.
West
Essendon's
They
good.
only beat them by like 48 points last time.
That was in Perth.
So
At Marvel, they'll be.
They just need 2 more extra points or 3 more points and they cover
Great.
that line. But yeah, we'll give it. I think it was around a 7. 7.5. Yeah, nice.
Yep. All right. Time for.
It's best bets, it's best bets, it's time for all the best bets.
All right. All right, Jim's. He's got Essendon minus 50.5 and an alternate line of minus 70.5 at $3.40 with Bet365. Paddy Cripps 25 and a goal, 286. Leo, what is your best bet? And then we'll go to Stats Guy while I find mine.
I just think Petrarca to have an absolute massive game against North Melbourne
Yeah, I
this
think
week.
that's a good call.
120 plus fantasy points. Get on that.
Stats Guy.
Rozee 2+, really like that against Geelong. I think he's going to push forward more. And then I think Adelaide at the line against the Suns. I think Adelaide at home, minus 8.5.
I don't mind the forwards again. Peter Wright 6+ at 9.75. Oscar Allen 4+, 4.10. And that $11 for Dan McStay to kick 4 or more. And of course, Errol 25 and a goal at 2.62.
Errol, nice.
But Toby Greene 15 and 3 at $2.69.
Cool.
All right, that is Code Bet Daily AFL and the Daily Show done and dusted for the week. Stats Guy will be back tomorrow. Don't know who with. Could be James, could be Leo. It's not going to be me.
Hopefully someone.
I'm going to be in Hobart having the
You're going to do it live
time.
from
I think
Hobart,
it should
eh?
just be the Stats
Yeah,
Guy
yeah.
show.
I've been calling for
No
the
one wants
Stats
to
Guy
see
show
that,
for a long
except
time.
for you two.
In fairness, I've been calling for the Stats Guy and Leo show for a while. Hey guys, it's the Stats Guy.
Oh, yeah.
and
Talk
Leo
about
show.
Chelsea
I'm
and
your
bottom
host,
4
Liam.
AFL
Yeah.
teams.
Apparently, another Premier League club has bid for Moises Caicedo this morning. And
Was it Chelsea?
No, another Premier League club.
Right. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
confidential and unnamed, so that must be part of the thing. 80 million that has been bid. So you might miss
Wow.
out on another midfielder there, Stats
I
Guy.
don't want to spend any more money at Chelsea.
You don't get a say in it. Todd's just like, you get a bid, you get a bid, everybody gets a bid. Anyway, we are done and dusted for today's show. Please get right around the show. Leo, where can we find all of our stuff?
We can find it at X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and Threads.
There we
Wow,
go.
that is
Threads.
the most smooth
I know, right? This
transition
is
to
why
that we've
we're
ever
the
had.
social guy.
Well done,
Please
Leo.
get around the YouTube as well. Give us a thumbs up there. Get around this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. This will be on both the AFL and Daily loops on Spotify. And if it's Apple Podcasts, it all comes in the same thing. Go listen to the NRL show. Phil and I went through that yesterday afternoon. A lot of favourites to get the job done. Any questions? Something via the socials? Any bets? What's Grandma McAllion like this week, Stats Guy?
I don't know. I'll find out for you tomorrow.
You always say that and never do
I don't
it.
like horse racing. She's all over that.
Yeah, but I want to find out what Grandma McAllion's tipping.
Anything with Damien Oliver, she always loves.
Okay, no, I don't mind.
That's always-
that's
it's-
fair.
it's always
Anything-
their fans.
Damien Oliver over 2,000 metres plus is
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
I think that's it. Cheers, Stats Guy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Leo.
Thanks, Alex.
Good stuff, Gerald and Homie. Homie's in here today. Good stuff. But look at them both in their hats. God, they look good.
They look good.
Thanks to me for turning up on my birthday. I woke up with a sore
done.
back. Welcome to 32.
Got a good jacket on the waist.
Got a great jacket. It is so comfortable. Anyway, that's it for today. What do we say here, Stats Guy?
Gamble responsibly.
We'll catch you in a little bit. CODE Bet Daily. Out.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.